Welcome to the Gabe Show Live. I'm here, excited, sponsored by the Sewing Pair. Go 773-890-4733 for Mexican sub, some delicious roast beef, corned beef, burgers, and garlic fries. Let's talk about the White Sox. So Sewing Pair. Anyways, so we're talking about the Sox Fest, Sox mini channel. Last time we talked about Eric, who's the dean of Illinois Media School, IMS, one of the best schools I've been here. And of course, she's a Tigers fan. And we're talking about a lot of baseball talk, talking about the White Sox talk, Tigers talk, Manny Machado situation, contracts. Eric, how you doing, Eric?
I'm doing well, thanks, Gabe. How are you?
Doing good. Kind of arguing with Sox fans on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were upset about that. Machado went to the Padres, not the White Sox.
Well, here's the thing. The Manny does not want to be the White Sox. It's $200 million. I hear the Sox offer $225 million, which play options, which, okay, 8 years, $255 million guarantee. Which, it's the samples that Fat Manny doesn't want to compete. A lot of Sox fans are not happy because it's always saying, oh, Jerry Evans is cheap, and blah, blah, blah. The logic is, they assume of Manny Machado and how the media say, oh, okay, Manny's going to the Sox, and I like, all this trolling the media gave it to him. I'm blaming the media because they were playing trolling games with Manny Machado. So says this, so says that. And I knew Manny was not going to be the White Sox. If that would happen, he would join the White Sox a long time ago. What do you think?
Well, I think they're better off not having that contract on their books for that long. If you look at historical figures, players that sign those long-term big deals, really those last few years of those deals, they're not productive, and those contracts are really bad on the books, preventing teams from signing other free agents.
That's true. Let's talk about that. I mean, it's so much money.
Yeah, especially for a player who, they say, doesn't like to hustle. Now that he's got that guaranteed money, what's his incentive?
Exactly. Now, La Coffee, who's on Twitter to me last night, Rob Barrow, shout out Rob Barrow, told me on Twitter, I agree 100% Rob, and you said it best, and I'm talking about it as a Sox fan, you're a Cubs fan, Rob Barrow's a Cubs fan in Twitter, talking about the same thing, Steven is the same way, go Cubs go, guy, Cubs fan, he's on Twitter, well, I agree upon, it's just, Sox fans who agree, it's too much money, and you're like, the hustle, you're a Tigers fan, you agree the same thing.
Yes, I do. And, looking from a Tigers fan perspective, I look at the contract that they gave Miguel Cabrera, who's a phenomenal player. You look at that deal go until 2024. And really, being a defensive liability and his declining numbers, that contract is really going to be preventing the Tigers from contending again because they're not going to have the money to designate to the payroll that they should. Now, Machado's a much better defensive player than Cabrera is, but you'll still see that decline towards the end of that deal. I
agree 100%. A lot of good players who are not going to be here. Manny is for the money, and I'm saying it as a Sox fan. All these players the Sox had for years, back to our 5 roster, is how many players are hot players? How many players are make $200 million? Star players. Frank Thomas didn't make $300 million. Paul Connect didn't make $300 million. And one of the best players in the franchise. Frank Thomas was the best player in the 90s. They didn't make a highest paid player in the roster. But Sox stayed good. Never last place. Maybe like third place. But for 1990 to 2005. But why? Because Frank Thomas was not selfish. He was a team player. What do you think?
And I agree. I think it comes from drafting well and developing that talent, and then once you've got that core in place, adding that key free agent or two to fill in the gaps. And I really don't see the White Sox being a World Series contender this year with Machado. I think they're better suited to go ahead and develop that homegrown talent, draft well, and then put together those couple missing pieces.
Exactly. Like the Tigers did rebuilding here, I think talking about 4 or more, is the Tigers winner which was 6 out of my White Sox did. But we got players who want to be here, like Sox went JD. Mag didn't want to be with the White Sox. He wanted to be with the Tigers. So Mags went to the Tigers and the White Sox. Tigers offered a lot of money, like $30 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you look at that rebuild that the Tigers had in 2003. They lost 119 games, set a modern day record for number of losses in a season, and they turned it around in 3 years and were in the World Series in 2006, like you said. And really, the model that they did was they'd sign a couple of free agents to short-term deals, flip them at the trade deadline for prospects. They drafted well, they developed those prospects, they put the core in place, and then they added a couple key free agents like Magglio Ordonez and Pudge Rodriguez and made that World Series run.
I agree. I've been saying this for a long time. Like, Sox fans, supposed that happened, all trades, they want no GD, they want no Jimmy Dive. You're loving the season, right? All these Sox fans are never been happy. 97 white flag trade. They're mad. Why is actually trading these decisions? I listened to the radio. Back when I was like 5 years old. Then the Pocaneko trade, my camera's gone. Why I trade my camera for Pocaneko? Complaining. I told about doing 4 season. They're not happy. Why is Sox getting 50 Garcia? They're happy. Sox getting Jose Contreras. They're happy for Esteban Liza, who was an all-star player, Jose Contreras, an all-star roster. They ain't got to 5 free agency. No one wanted AJ. AJ wants, okay, AJ wants AJ, but I don't want AJ because he's bad, blah, blah, blah. You got JD. Number one's JD. Number one's Scott Patsanik. Trade Scott Patsanik for what? Trade Carlos Lee for Scott Patsanik to Milwaukee. Now you guys loving those guys now? Like, those trades, the Sox got the 97 white flag trade, Keith Fogg, Bobby Harvey. That got the Sox to division championships that year. 5 White Sox won the World Series because the fans, the players, the team didn't always listen to the fans. Listen to the fans. They wanted to build their own core players. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely. I really think the general manager did a great job putting that team together and really identified, players that may have been on the decline and players that were on the rise, and really helped supplement that roster to be a World Series champion.
It's hard, It's hard to win titles. I said that free agency is hard. How many players won the free agency that year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Lot, 0. 25% at the time. And talking about money, guys, it's just, everything's been money. Do you think baseball should be a salary cap this year? A couple years?
I think so. You've got teams like the Yankees that just make so much money that they can afford to pay the luxury tax and go out and try and sign whoever they want. Now it didn't work out for them for Machado, but they're still going to spend much more than a small market team can. So I think what really creates competitive balance is that salary cap.
Same way it goes to players. Players are more greedy than ever, and I'm telling us from a perspective. Now, fans shouldn't be mad at the team. They should be mad at the players. Now, here's the thing, fans. Tigers fans, Sox fans can tell you this. Even Colts fans can attest to it. Colts tickets are expensive. How much money the Tigers tickets has?
A lot.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Sox fans are cheap. But if you guys complain that Sox tickets are prices, you guys can still complain. Why are the prices too high? You guys complain about Bears tickets are high. You guys complain on Twitter, social media all the time. Now, tell me, who's to blame? The fans or the owners? The players? The prices are up.
I think it's a combination of the two. With the salaries being driven up, the owners are looking to still make money. I mean, they're a business. So I really think it's a combination of the two. You got your owners looking to make money, you got your players looking to make money, and it's the fans that ultimately have to pay that price.
A lot of ways. And look, it's like, put it this way. If I was the owner and paying this guy a lot of money, I'm a businessman, my dad's a businessman, and I talked this to my dad, and my dad said 100%, if they make too much money, they don't want to play. Because my dad, he's a businessman, and I see it as a businessman. If the players, if I'm the owner, and I'm paying that player employee, say players a lot of money, I would raise the ticket prices. And Sox fans will not like it. All fans are suffering this. That's what the fans suffered. There is going to be a baseball strike unless there is a salary cap, because the players are the money. Owners can make money off of it. So a lot of fans don't go to games anymore, Eric.
Mm-hmm. And it's expensive, you're right. And especially if you're going to bring a family. Like I have a family of 4. And if I'm going to bring them to the ballpark, tickets alone are going to be, close to $200. And then if you're getting hot dogs and pop or beer, you're, spending another $100, to feed that family of four. So you're talking about a $300 day out with that experience.
So that's why I've been telling Sox fans, go to games, support the team. They can afford many, the free agency players. But Sox fans don't understand it. Why do they think it's for prices? Because the players' salary caps are high. The taxes are high. The value is kind of skyrocket since the 80s and 90s. So I think there is. I think baseball's going to be tough this year, getting the fans back, other than a forced strike.
Yeah. And, if there is a strike, it's going to be detrimental to the game. I think a lot of fans are going to turn away. And so I think they need to do everything they can to avoid a strike.
A lot of fans like me and myself and my grandfather took the teams to a first strike. Been there before. That's why I think the players should care about the game more, like Frank, like Pudge. They love the game of baseball. Games of baseball, what's beneficial. Now, Frank Thomas is not there anymore. Carl Rick is not there anymore. So who's going to save baseball?
Yeah, it's going to take, that young, dynamic player that is going to stand out and, does it for the love of the game. Is not there for a paycheck, but does it because they genuinely love baseball.
So what's going to happen to baseball this year? What's your predictions for the American League Central, your Tigers this year?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are in that rebuilding phase in the American League Central. So I think it's the Cleveland Indians division to lose. And I'm not a Cleveland Indians fan, so it pains me to say that. But the Tigers will probably be in last place with their area they're at in the rebuild. You've got the Royals, who've been on the decline. The White Sox are on their way up. I think the Twins are also on their way up. So it'll be Cleveland in first, followed by either the White Sox or Royals in second, followed by the Twins, and then the Tigers in the last place.
Oh, wow. I just think the Indians are bad, overrated are. I just think Cleveland's going to choke a lot of times. So I'm picking Tigers going to be bad. I know Tigers going to be last place. I go 100%. I feel sorry for the Tigers fans out there, like Detroit fans out there. They suffer way worse. I had not won a World Series since 94. It's since 84. Just like the Bears, 30 years drought. It's kind of sad. But the Tigers not won the title since 84. You got the top. I think Kansas City is done. Kansas City had no superstar players whatsoever. Twins, you can't sleep with Twins. The Pesky Twins, always be the Pesky Twins. I'm glad it's actually going to be second place. But I think Cleveland is going to fight for the run. But I just think Cleveland's going to be second place. Because this Twins team, they're still the Pesky Twins. No matter how you sleep with Twins, they're always going to beat you.
You know what, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because they have had that model where they've drafted well, they've developed their homegrown talent, and they haven't chased after those big free agents. They've been able to keep, some guys home that, ordinarily would go elsewhere. So I agree with you. They're always that pesky Twins team. I remember 1987. They were pesky. The Tigers won the AL East, and they faced the Minnesota Twins at the old Metrodome for the pennant, and those pesky Twins took out my Tigers that year.
Don't forget 09 too.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that Brandon Inch play at home plate as well. But I'm fortunate I am old enough that I do remember the World Series win they had in 1984 over the San Diego Padres.
That's good memories you have. You're a Tigers fan suffering so many years. I feel sorry for Tigers fans, Detroit fans.
It has been a long-suffering fan base. They did have some pretty bad teams in the 90s. Did enjoy success between the 2006 to the mid-2015s. Got to 2 World Series, unfortunately lost both, but they were always a competitive team during that time. But now, again, they're in that full rebuild mode.
I think Tigers fans suffer a lot too. They lost the old Tiger Stadium back then too.
Yeah, Tiger Stadium, I've got a lot of great memories there. It was a beautiful old building, but I do think it was time. They didn't upkeep very well. I think the Cubs have done a good job of keeping Wrigley Field nice. The Tigers did not put the time and effort into keeping Tiger Stadium nice, so unfortunately I think it was time that they moved out of that old building.
I agree with the Cubs keeping Wrigley Field alive because and Red Sox too. I wish the White Sox would keep the old Comiskey Park and Tigers fans they missed the Tiger Stadium. And I move on. I was never Old Comiskey, but I cherish Old Comiskey. Like, hey, that's a historic place. Mm-hmm. The Yankees fans cherish Yankee Stadium. I've been a Sox fan entire life. I've never been to Old Comiskey Park, but I hear good stories about it. and I go home plate just to say good luck, try me there. But it's an honor to go places. I just think things are changing now.
It is. One of the things that I like that they've done in Detroit is the spot of old Tiger Stadium. They still have a baseball field there. So they've leveled the stadium, and there's an open field there, but home plate is still there, and it's actually a baseball field.
That's good. I wish Sox were done at the old Comiskey, but it's next to Comiskey Park, so it's like home plate there. But I want to come back to foundation stuff, old Comiskey Park, because I want to be there. The place, the shoes, Joe Jackson, Colin Fisk. Babe Ruth came to town. Jackie Robinson came to the stadium. Yeah.
And that's one thing I think that is really unique to baseball. I mean, all sports have their history, but I think baseball, going back as far as it has such a rich history, such great players, great personalities for, over a century. So I think baseball is really special in that regard.
It is special. The Cubs have the definitive confines. Tigers have the old Tiger uniforms, the Detroit logo. Yankees have the pinstripe. The White Sox have the fireworks, big scoreboards. And that's kind of what it is. Baseball has on stuff. Red Sox have the Red Monster. The White Sox have, it's etc. Everybody has their own uniqueness. Tigers had amazing logos. Detroit logos. They've never changed for how many years. Who's going to win the World Series this year?
Well, it's hard to count out Boston. Boston was so good last year. I think the Yankees will give them a run in the AL East. So I think we might see a repeat in the World Series with Boston going back. You've got Houston will be good again. I think the Dodgers will be right up there. I'm not seeing a team from the NL Central going to the World Series just because it's going to be such a dogfight. There's so many good teams at NL Central that I think it's going to be exhausting for them to get through the 162-game season. So I really see the NL representative coming out of the West, be it a Houston or Los Angeles.
I say same. Agree with you 100%. But it's done. The pocket's over. The show's over. And see you later. Thank you, Eric, for coming.
All right. Thanks for having me.
See you later. The show's over.